Breaking news now on Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
It's 6 o'clock and there's breaking news developing in Hartford. There are 2 active investigations underway after a teen was shot. Then another person was stabbed in the same neighborhood. Thank you for joining us. I'm Raven Blue. The shooting happened just after 2 this afternoon near Martin and Nelson Streets. Fox 61 Stephen Reels is live at the scene. Stephen, what can you tell us?
Hey, Raven. So this caution tape that you were talking about, that actually came down just a little over an hour ago. But when it was up, as you're about to see, very different situation from what it is right now. People were distraught. Now, there's still not a lot of information we know about the shooting, but here's what we have information on right now. The person who was shot was just 15 years old, but the good news is they were taken to a nearby hospital to help get treatment. And another piece of good news, at last check, that child is said to be in stable condition. But like I said earlier, this definitely shook the neighborhood to their core because this isn't even the first shooting that's happened out here. And it's caused some people to worry about whether they'll live here in the future.
We won't be here too much longer though. We gotta go. This is ridiculous. I'm just getting off work and this is what I come home to.
And Raven, we're still waiting to learn the details of the shooter, including their identity, their relationship to the person they shot, as well as what led up to it. Of course, once we learn more from Hartford Police, we'll be sure to update you on air and online on fox61.com and Fox 61 Plus. Live in Hartford, Stephen Reels, Fox 61.
Thank you, Stephen. Also happening right now, Hartford police have arrested a person after a stabbing. Our first detail coming into the newsroom right now. Hartford police say it happened just before 5 at the Mellow Mini Market on Albany Avenue. We're told there is a suspect in custody. We're still waiting to learn their name. Police say the victim was taken to the hospital and should survive. An increased amount of road work is happening all across the state, including this area. You are looking live at I-91 and Route 15 interchange in Meriden. If this is part of your commute, you know it's a headache during rush hour. The good news, it's undergoing major construction now to help traffic flow more easily, but the construction is causing some major issues for drivers, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. Fox 61's Joe Monty brings us more details on the big project and how commuters are feeling about it.
If you're driving on Route 15 headed through Meriden where it meets 91, you're going to find a lot of barriers and construction equipment. It can be confusing and even dangerous. The state urges drivers to be aware and be safe during their commute.
People are driving too fast, they are driving distracted, they are driving impaired, and they're putting themselves and our crews and contractors at risk.
Josh Morgan with the Connecticut Department of Transportation says there has been an increase in work zone crashes across the state, but especially at the construction site on Route 15 and 91 in Meriden. Since construction started in 2023, there have been more than 1,200 motor vehicle accidents in the work zone, several hundred more than the few years before the project started. Morgan says the accidents are negatively affecting the construction process.
They're crashing into our barrels, our contractor trucks, into the work zone, which is so incredibly dangerous for the men and women who are working out there.
Retha Shields commutes through the work zone at night. She says it's not easy.
Like at nighttime, you can't see everything that's around you, and definitely it will cause an accident. But you got to pay close attention to everything.
Shields says she'd like to see the state take a different approach to the construction if possible.
I really feel and believe if they make a detour, it will be safer for the drivers.
Morgan says the project is a $500 million long-term investment to modernize major roadways in Connecticut. Construction won't be complete until 2030. He says Route 15, 91, and 691 were tangled like spaghetti and needed serious work.
We're going to untangle all of that, fix some of the roadway geometry, make some of the exits larger so traffic is not backing up onto the highway. Really just trying to make it modernized and try to future-proof it as much as we can.
Morgan says the DOT just needs the public on their side.
Be patient, understand that progress takes time. Please think of yourself, think of the men and women who are out there in that work zone. If you're 5 minutes late to that meeting, that's better than not arriving there at all.
If you're out driving around and notice more road work than usual, that's because the recent passing of the Infrastructure Investments and Jobs Act increased the DOT's funding by 40%. Morgan says the DOT is able to get more workers out on the roads and more projects done quicker. In Meriden, Joe Monti, Fox 61.
A Cheshire parent is speaking out today after he learned his child went swimming in potentially contaminated water at Mixville Park Summer Camp. The Mixville Park pond closed Wednesday due to E. coli contamination, but the father says his son swam in the same water that morning. Fox 61's Jamel Johnson heard from the parent and park officials about the frequency of water testing.
After testing positive for a significant presence of E. coli, the pond here at Mixville Park was closed. But Keith Massimino tells me that right before the area was closed off to swimmers, his son swam in this water, and it's sparking concern over if he could have gotten sick.
I had actually dropped something off to him around 10, saw him in the water, came back to pick him up in the afternoon, and there were signs up that said beach is closed. And I was like, well, that's not good, because I knew beach closed usually meant there's bacteria issues.
Keith ended up finding out from Cheshire Parks and Rec that the testing for Mixville Pond came back with high levels of E. coli. The levels of E. coli were 6 times more than the recommended levels for swimming.
At the end of the day, you want your kids to be safe, especially in our situation where we've been through so much with this little guy anyway. And, you know, we don't know if other kids that are possibly swimming in this have had issues or could have issues.
Keith's son Alex had a bone marrow transplant 2 years ago to treat his leukemia. And even though he's not immunocompromised anymore, Keith felt uneasy about his possible exposure to contaminated waters.
My instant reaction was, oh no, he was in, you know, toxic water essentially. So I want to reach out to his team at Yale, who's been amazing, by the way. And it was basically like, watch him, make sure he doesn't have any stomach issues. He did have a little bit of a tummy ache on Wednesday. Was it part of the water? Who knows?
Fox 61 made contact with Cheshire Parks and Rec. In a statement, Program Supervisor Elizabeth Main tells us, quote, as soon as Chesprocott notified recreation staff of the elevated levels on Wednesday morning, June 25th, they followed their guidance and contacted staff at the park to close the pond to swimming. The results from the most recent previous sample that Chesprocott collected on Friday, June 20th, were well within the satisfactory range for E. coli concentration. We have not received any reports from people becoming ill after swimming in the pond. Keith says as a parent, the gaps between testing scare him the most.
If you're testing on a Thursday and, you know, you get it all clear and you get back on Friday, that's great, but then you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and until Wednesday morning before you get another sample. The kid swam on Monday and Tuesday. Who knows if the water was good then? Because
of those gaps, Keith says he'll be checking to see when the last water samples were taken so he can protect his children.
If I knew we had really, really hot weather Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I might be more hesitant to be like, hey, let's keep him out today at least until we get that Tuesday test done.
Maine says that their latest test has came back and the levels for E. coli are significantly lower. The staff has since opened the beach back up for use. In Cheshire, Jamel Johnson, Fox 61.
A 15-year-old boy is in the hospital after police say he was stabbed by another teen. At last check, he is in stable condition and is expected to survive. Fox 61 Kayla Cade has the latest from Middletown.
This all started just before 9 p.m. here at the intersection of Grand and High Street Thursday night. Not long after, emergency crews had to rush the 15-year-old victim to the hospital. Officers were called to Grand Street Thursday night after receiving a report of a stabbing. When they arrived, they found the 15-year-old boy, and they say he was stabbed in the stomach. After investigating, police found a 16-year-old boy who they say is a suspect and arrested him for the assault. He was taken into custody and charged with assault in the second degree and breach of peace in the second degree. Kate Ferris, who lives in the neighborhood, says she isn't shocked to hear this happened.
You know, it doesn't really surprise me, but it saddens me. You know, this neighborhood it's turned a little bit. It's a little wild.
Police say this was an isolated incident and there is no threat to the public. This case is still under investigation, and if you have any information about what happened, make sure you call the Middletown's Police Major Investigations Unit. We'll have the number for you over on our website. In Middletown, Kayla Cade, Fox 61.
New tonight, the Manchester man accused of murdering a Vernon woman in 2023 did not accept the state's plea deal. Now his case will go to trial. Abdul Maboob's lawyers told a Rockville Superior Court judge his decision today. The state's attorney says they will not release details of the plea deal because the case is going to trial. Maboob also did not enter a plea. The pretrial is scheduled for August 6th. The victim, Anastasia Paul, was found dead in an apartment on Brooklyn Street on July 17, 2023. Police went there for a welfare check. A judge says it was a domestic violence incident. It is unclear how she was killed. Paul's family was in the courtroom today. They met with reporters afterward. Take a listen.
I've been reliving this every day of my life. Like, I can't ever live a normal life again. I look at her son, Major, and I'm just like, you know, I feel so bad because he'll be left without a mother for the rest of his life. He will never be able to have siblings again. He will never see his mother in the flesh ever again.
The family also says any offer would not be acceptable for Paul's death. An update on the man who was charged for driving more than 130 miles per hour to a job interview. His attorneys say all of the charges have been dismissed. 19-year-old Asmir Darvich was accused of driving over the speed limit on I-91 in Cromwell earlier this month. The police report says he stated he was late for a job interview around 8:55 in the morning. But what Darvich's lawyers found, he didn't leave his home until 9:20, and his car didn't match the car that was pulled over. Ultimately, a judge dismissed his case. State police recognized their error and apologized to the man. New at 6, the son of a Connecticut state representative appeared in court today after police say he lied about where he was while a missing person complaint was issued for him and a 15-year-old girl. 22-year-old Christopher Anisvach Jr. faces custodial and police interference charges. It's reported they left West Haven together last Saturday. Police tell us he gave them a fake phone number to mislead them on where they were. The girl is safe at home. His dad is a Republican state rep for the 35th district.